All right, what's up guys? As promised, here we are for part 2 of that 90-90 stretch. Let's start with our left foot in front. That'll look like your left, and then your right foot in back. So left leg in front, right foot in back. And you'll remember if you've taken any, done any videos or workouts with me before, whenever this position comes up, I always talk about the ribs. It's so much more comfortable to lean over toward that front knee, but we don't get any of that good stretch when we do that. So I want you to use that hand to stack your shoulders over your ribs, over your hips, okay? And that's half the battle. You can sit here and breathe, and you're gonna get a really nice response or release from this by the end. But this is part 2, so we're gonna take it a little further. You're gonna take your right hand, I think this will look like your right hand, towards your left knee, and then still sitting up tall. So instead of leaning over to the side, think of just rotating on that center axis. You're gonna start to rotate over toward your left. Now, the deeper I rotate toward the left, the more focused I am on pressing down through this right leg. So I'm thinking about trying to melt my right inner thigh toward the floor and really sit some weight back into that right sit bone. And if you're thinking like, wow, I'm all the way back here, this doesn't feel like anything, chances are that you're not truly keeping that vertical line in your spine. So go ahead and come back to start, line the ribs up, and then try again. You'll get stuck a lot faster if you're truly keeping that alignment up. And that's not a bad thing. We're finding that true range of motion without any compensation. So it's okay if you feel like you're not going very far. You're gonna give me 2 more deep breaths, twisting towards your left. Can you sit up a little taller, just 1 more inch. Awesome. And then bring yourself all the way back to center. Don't get comfy, just rotate back to the center. Awesome. We're gonna go toward the right now. So you're gonna take your left hand onto your left foot. My right hand's coming behind my back, and now I'm gonna rotate toward that left knee. Again, we're not getting bonus points or brownie points for being able to look at that back wall. That doesn't matter. I want you to try to keep equal weight in both hips and sit up a little taller every inhale. And 1 more big breath in and out. Keep your good posture here. Keep that tall posture. Start to rotate back toward the center. Ending exactly where we started, maybe just a little more comfortable in this position. Notice if maybe you can sit up taller, or if you can feel a little more connection underneath that right inner thigh. And now you can lean into that left leg, very, very slowly. Start to circle that right leg all the way around to the top of your mat, or the top of your space. Give it a little shake. Then we're gonna do that same thing on the other side. So now you're gonna bend your right knee. You're gonna take that left leg behind you. And notice where that first comfy position is. This is what we try to resist for the rest of the time. So I need to take that back hip, my left hip, and kind of roll it forward a smidge, and then pull my ribs right over top of my hips. This back hand, or this opposite hand for me, helps so much because then I don't need to flex that back leg too aggressively to keep me upright. So if I can prop myself up with this supporting hand or this opposite hand, then I'm able to think about relaxing this back leg. And so for me right now, this left inner thigh, my goal with every exhale is to give it a little bit more surface area on the ground. Every breath out just lengthens that left inner thigh. I feel like I wince every time I teach this because it's not uncomfortable, but it's strange. It's not a position that we get ourselves into very often. which is why it's so important, because our hip is a ball and socket joint. It's supposed to be able to move in all these directions. Since we never get into this, it doesn't feel very natural, even though it should be a position that we're able to be in, at least in a controlled, safe setting. So we're going to start to take a little rotation here, and we're going to start by taking our left hand over toward, just kidding, your right hand over toward your left knee, and you're going to start to rotate toward the left. Thinking back to that first side, I'm not sure I held it for quite as long before we rotated, so if you're feeling uneven by the time this is over, you'll go back to that first side and give yourself another second or two there. Just focusing on that inhale and on that exhale. Trying to reevaluate the posture every cycle of breath. Can you sit up taller? Can you twist a little deeper? Awesome. And then as we start to rotate over toward the opposite side, just be mindful where the ribs go, and if you're kind of like rocking back onto your tailbone or not, find the very center of that pelvis, and then just start to rotate on that center axis, right on the top of that tailbone. Now your right hand will come toward your right foot, and your left hand is going to come behind you, and you're just going to try to sit up tall. If you're feeling like you're stuck, like your hand is on your foot and you can't get your hand down and sit up at the same time, grab a block or a stack of books. Grab a block or a stack of books, or even just your water bottle, something to press your hand onto back here so that you can sit up as tall as possible. Stay for just a few more breaths. And then slowly start to bring yourself back toward the front again, not getting too comfortable just yet. Try to stay tall. Finish out with just one more breath here. See if you can notice a difference between where you started and how it feels right now. And then slowly, very slowly, lean into that front knee, reach that back leg out. It starts to circle around in front of you. I like to finish this out with that external rotation. We're just going to take a basic butterfly stretch. So the opposite of turning the knees in, we're going to bring the feet together and turn the knees out. And you're going to sit up very tall again. It's all about posture in these two positions. So grab a hold of the ankles, start to lift your chest up. And then lean your chest forward, like you could pull yourself toward your toes. You don't have to round down, but if that makes the stretch feel bigger for you, great. If you get down there and you realize that it just got easier because you kind of sat back and rounded your back too much, then sit yourself back up. And then we're going to stretch the legs all the way out. You're just going to take one reach over towards your toes. And you guys are finished.